Copper sulfate, water and carbon dioxide are formed when copper carbonate, which is of course a metal carbonate, reacts with an acid. So the problem is, what is the name of the acid that we should pick from here? So when I say the word acid, we already know that it should start with the name with the word hydrogen or end with the word acid. But of course none of the four options have the word acid. So only option A and B starts the word hydrogen. So it's either A or B. So C and D are definitely not the correct answer. But for us to get copper sulfate, so the acid should be able to produce the anion called sulfate. Hydrogen carbonate doesn't have sulfate, right? So it would produce copper carbonate. So of course you can't be using copper carbonate to create copper carbonate again. So the obvious option is option A, hydrogen sulfate. So let me give you the chemical word equation for that. Hydrogen sulfate, okay, which we know is the acid that should be used. When it reacts with a metal carbonate, so whenever an acid reacts with a metal carbonate, it's going to form three products, okay. One would be the salt, second will be water, and of course along with a gas carbon dioxide, which would be produced. But the name of the salt should be copper from the copper carbonate would combine with the sulfate ion from the acid to form the salt called copper sulfate. That's exactly what the question says you need to get. Copper sulfate plus along with water and carbon dioxide. So I want you to take note that hydrogen sulfate is also known as sulfuric acid. So in this case the answer is directly given to you as hydrogen sulfate itself. Therefore hydrogen sulfate should be the acid that copper carbonate should react with in order to form these three products, okay, copper sulfate, water and carbon dioxide.